My grandfather played guitar, and I'd go over his house, and I was infatuated by it, actually. And he showed me a few chords, and they bought me my first guitar. My grandparents did. Golly, I can't do the math. Over 40-something years. I started when I was 8 years old. Hi, I'm Jay Rakes. I'm a guitarist. I play in the Jay Rakes Band, an all-instrumental trio from Norfolk, Virginia. I just started learning chords out of the Mel Bay chord book, which is still in print today. It's a great book. And then my ears started getting pretty good because I would hear those chords and songs on the radio on my dad's albums. And I started figuring out these songs by ear. You know, kept me fired up, you know, because I was being able to figure out these songs. And then I wanted to learn more chords, so I kept learning more chords. And then I started like trying to write my own stuff from learning these chords. And at a younger age, I was actually coming up with some pretty decent sounding stuff that I thought was pretty decent sounding at the time. But it kind of geared me up into being able to write my own music, you know, my own songs. My early influences starting out were old Doobie Brothers, you know, Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush, Three Dog Night, because I used to just sing too. I can still sing. Old Doobie Brothers, and then, like I said, then started getting into Ted Nugent, Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush, and of course then Rush, and from there just tons of people. The challenges when I was first starting up was trying to find people who were on my level of playing and trying to find people who were serious, because I was serious about it and I've always been serious about it. And just trying to find people who felt the same way I did about music and playing and getting together and rehearsing and how important that is. And but it's like anything. It's like a football team or a baseball team. You have to practice so you maintain a certain level of consistency when you play out and play a show or something like that. So, but just always just trying to find somebody that felt the same way I did about music. The Jay Rakes Band was formed with me just sitting at home, you know, playing along with the drum machine and laying down bass tracks and the guitar, just a three-piece type thing. And I really liked the sound of that a lot. And I finally realized that I thought I was good enough in my playing where I could pull off a three-piece type thing. So I started seeking out players that wanted to do that type of thing and were, like I said, into the same stuff I was into, you know, the instrumental rock fusion guitar type of thing, you know. So it's a hard road to do, but you know, you gotta try to do what you love to do and be happy with it.
My name is Cody Thornton. I play the drum set and I'm in the Jay Rakes Band. What got me started playing drums is that I come from a family of 3 generations of drummers, me being the 4th generation. My uncle, at an early age, my early age, I saw him playing drums and then found out a few years later that my grandfather started playing drums. So my uncle's drums were always around. An old Ludwig set in the garage with zilch and cymbals. And having seen him play drums in bands early on and sit in rehearsals, I was fascinated by not only the sound but the feeling of the drums and the feeling of music in general, because drums are not only heard, they're felt. So from that point on, 2 years later, at the age of 8, I started playing and taking lessons with my first drum teacher, and then that started it all. Well, how I ended up in the Jay Rakes Band I just turned 16, and I was taking guitar lessons with Jay Rakes, and one of my bands had just broken up, and Jay had told me in the lesson that his drummer had left, and I mentioned this to my dad, and my dad called Jay up and asked him if I could come out and try out, and that week I came out, and within a few weeks of jamming with him and his then bass player, I got into the band, and I've been playing with him ever since.
Hi, I'm Bill Landon. I play bass for the Jay Rakes Band, 6-string quartet. I got into Jay Rakes Band. I got into Jay Rakes Band when it was probably a couple of weeks after we had played for him at the old Steppin' Out. I was in a band, Frameshift, my other band, and he gave me a call. He was looking for a bass player because Dave Hines had left. And that was exactly the kind of music that I was looking for to be able to achieve and start playing. This style is two-handed technique. It's just putting a bass line in at the same time with hammer-ons, while you're hammer-on with the right hand as well to do some melody lines, like in our title track, Charged Up, for our second album. The first album I was with them. It comes to a part where we're so it's a little bit filling, not just playing, standing on a bass note, playing whole notes or something like that.
2009 is when we got together. Cody joined the band first, and a few months later we got Bill into the band. So, and our first gig was opening up for Reeves Gabriel's, the guitarist from David Bowie and Tin Machine. And then a few weeks later, we opened up for King's X.
I always felt like, the Jay Rakes Band was very similar to the Steve Morse Band, just in the fact that Dave LaRue plays a two-hand style just like I do, and Jay's nuts on guitar just like Steve Morse is, and it's great, creative instrumental music. I always, you think Frank Marino, I always think Steve Morse Band definitely.
Oh, I do.
Got to be a huge influence on him,
Yep.
his style.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, Steve Morse Band, I guess, would be like the ultimate inspiration. In a way, we all kind of play the part of that type of a band. I mean, obviously Jay doing the Morse thing, and then you have Bill kind of doing the Dave LaRue thing, and me kind of doing the Morgenstein part. So, but it's original. It's very original. We take influence from that band and from other three-piece bands and other great fusion bands throughout history, but I believe we do have our own sound.
But all of us, I feel, are high energy musicians, which is very important because, man, that you put all three of us together, man, boom. I mean, it's out there, which is, it's great.
It's great to play loud, yeah.
Yeah.
I love when he drops to a solo, and I'll continue the rhythm ostinato patterns and stuff that he was maintaining with the rhythm guitars. Cody just jumps in and just really helps me fill out that part too. It's not just a rhythm part; it's a rhythm section. The two of us together, I think we mesh really, really well. And just like Jay said, he's a little clairvoyant at times. He really knows, especially in our improv stuff, when we're going to be changing a pattern or switching key or something like that on the fly. And it's a great asset. It gave a great chemistry to find.